Alright, so today we're going to make clay gargoyles. First we're going to need a bump, U-M-P, bump mold. And we're using any kind of dome will work. Just make sure you wrap it in fabric or paper. So see, this is wrapped in a paper towel. And this is just an old fruit cup. Then we're going to take the clay and you roll the clay up into a ball. And I'll probably give you a piece of clay that's mostly a ball anyway. Take your thumb, push it down, and then pushing your thumb down and pinching with your fingers, you're going to make a pinch pop. And you don't have to make it too big to start putting it on your bump mold, on your dome. So I've opened it up a little bit, and if it cracks on you, just smooth those cracks together. Opening, 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 and push it onto your bump mold. Don't open up too much, and if you do open up too much, you can still just squish it back on. Squish it onto there, because we're just making the head of our gargoyle. We're going to make the head of our gargoyle. Smooth that out. It doesn't need to be perfect, just smooth it out. You can get it a little wet and smooth it out if you want to also. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfectly smooth because we're going to be adding texture to it later. Alright, now I'm going to make the eyes, and again I just make these little tiny balls here for the eyeballs, and I want to push it in some eye sockets. So otherwise the eyes don't sit very well. So it's better to make eye sockets and then make little eyeballs. Now you have to glue it in. See how that just fell out? It's because it's not glued in.
Now to glue clay together, what we do is we rough up the surface and we add water. And what that shows, let me show you a metaphor for that. If you put your hands together like this, it's real easy for them to come apart. That's like clay on clay without any glue. If you rough up the surface and the surfaces come together with water, it's not easy for your hands to come apart. This is a roughed up surface. This is not a roughed up surface. Make sure you rough up your surface on both sides. Do both sides. So just like with your hands, it doesn't do you any good to rough up the surface like this. Okay? You gotta rough up both surfaces like that. And I'm gonna put my eyeball again. Alright. See how it's starting to come together a little bit? Anytime you want to put two pieces of clay together, you have to rough up both surfaces with a wet, rough sponge. So you need to get that clay wet, because that wet clay the reason why I add eye sockets is because the eyes...
Okay, I'm going to speed way up here so that we can get started soon. So see how I use my pencil to just poke some eyeballs there. I'm going to show you how we're going to make a mouth. It's going to look pretty goofy at first, but then I'll show you how I can make it look more ferocious. Make sure I glue that on really well. And then I just split open for two lips and open it up so that I can add a tongue. I'm going to add a snake tongue to it. Split that open and glue the tongue in really well by scoring and slipping. Now, it doesn't look too scary now, but when I add teeth with my fork, see how it looks much scarier with these shark or piranha teeth. Alright, and then I'm going to add some horns. Now you want to make sure your horns are thick enough. They should be thicker than your pinky, because anything thinner than your pinky, anything smaller than that, is likely to break off. I cannot guarantee its safety. So you want to smooth it on, glue it on, smooth it on really well. Now these ears are thinner than the pinky, but wider than it, so it should be just fine. Glue it on really well, and then smoothing on the seams. So glue it on, smooth it out. Glue it on, smooth it out. Glue it on, smooth it out. That's what you want to do when you're working with clay. And of course we're going to want to make these symmetrical, which I'll do in a minute. I'm going to add a mohawk here. Glue, glue, glue. Smooth, smooth, smooth. And then add some texture. So I'm going to again use my fork to make this texture, this hair-like texture. I can use my tool to smooth out the other side if my finger can't quite get in there. And then, because things in nature need to be symmetrical, I'm going to make it on the other side here too. I don't think I'm going to add a nose, but of course you are welcome to add a nose. To add, here's how you can do fish scale textures. Here's how you can do hair texture. Right? And then of course I would make it symmetrical on both sides. Now all we need to do is let it dry and then fire it in the kiln.